Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of wealth, prosperity, and abundance, holds a profound and complex significance in Hinduism, revealing layers of meaning that speak to both material and spiritual realms. This video delves into various themes, examining how Lakshmi embodies the link between wealth and liberation, and how her story symbolizes the tension between creation, prosperity, and conflict. Lakshmi's essence begins with the concept of food or anna. In Sanskrit, the living are sajiv, and they seek food, while the lifeless entities do not seek sustenance. Food is the fundamental target or the lux of life, giving birth to the name Lakshmi. In nature, she manifests as food, while in culture, she becomes wealth. Lakshmi is often called Kamala, meaning lotus, symbolizing her allure. Just as bees are drawn to the fragrance, color, and nectar of the lotus, all living beings are drawn to food, highlighting the primal urge for survival and sustenance that drives life itself. Plants seek sunlight, herbivores seek plants, and carnivores hunt other animals, and thus creating the food chain. Lakshmi's association with food and wealth also establishes a natural order of life. In the animal kingdom, herbivores form herds to protect themselves, while carnivores form packs to enhance their hunting capabilities. Within these groups, a hierarchy emerges. The strongest, called the alpha, secures the most food and mates, while the weakest, the omega, gets the least. This hierarchy ensures that only the fittest survive, shaping the evolution of species. The lion, a top predator, exemplifies this hierarchy, but does not challenge the much larger elephant, which symbolizes strength and stability. The elephant, associated with water and abundance, becomes closely linked with Lakshmi, representing the availability of resources and the flourishing of life where water is plentiful. In Hinduism, Lakshmi is also connected to the concept of directional elephants or Digagaja, said to support sky or earth. These elephants are often depicted as being white, like cow's milk, a revered source of wealth for the Vedic people. Lakshmi's connection with elephants, water, and abundance signifies her power over nature's resources and their role in sustaining life. Lakshmi's parentage further reveals her connection to both the divine and the demonic realms. She is described as having three fathers, Varun, Puloman, and Bhrigu, each representing a different aspect of wealth. Varun, initially an asura in the Vedas, becomes a deva in later texts, representing the sea, the source of water, and symbolizing generosity. Puloman, an asura king, and the Bhrigu, the asura guru, indicate Lakshmi's roots in the asura lineage, emphasizing the material aspect of her nature. In traditional narratives, asura are often portrayed as dark, evil beings, but this perspective results from the influence of Judeo-Christian Islamic thought during the Mughal and British rule in India, which imposed a moral dichotomy on Hindu concepts. In realities, asuras and devas are siblings, both children of Brahma, and their roles are more complex than simply good versus evil. The asuras, dwelling below the earth, are guardians of wealth hidden beneath the soil, seeds that sprout, metals that form, and water reserves. To access this wealth, humanity relies on the devas, sun, wind, fire, and rain, who help extract these resources. Varun, as the generous god, freely shares the ocean's wealth, while Puloman, an asura, requires humans to engage in agriculture and mining to extract the earth's riches. Lakshmi, known as Pulomi, or daughter of Puloman, represents the wealth obtained through human efforts and ingenuity. Bhrigu, associated with foresight and creativity, further emphasizes the role of innovation in generating wealth. Lakshmi's value is realized when she leaves her father's realms, water and earth, to become the symbol of prosperity in human culture. The creation of wealth, however, is inherently a violent process. It involves transforming forests into fields and extracting raw materials for industry, equating with the killing of asuras. Lakshmi shines when she is taken out of the natural world and becomes part of human civilization, represented by her presence alongside Indra, the god of rain and king of heavens. This transformation from nature's resources to cultural wealth is symbolized by the pot, a human invention that allows ownership and control over water, a once freely available resource. The pot becomes a symbol of cultural intervention, turning natural abundance into wealth that can be owned and distributed. In Hinduism, the struggle to possess Lakshmi is depicted through the eternal battle between Devas and Asuras. The Asuras, representing the earth's wealth, constantly seek to reclaim Lakshmi from the Devas, who represent those controlling and enjoying the fruits of prosperity. Indra, the king of Devas, enjoys the luxuries brought by Lakshmi without effort, living in Amravati, a paradise transformed by Lakshmi's presence. This wealth is represented by Kalpatru, a wish-fulfilling tree, Kamadhenu, a wish-fulfilling cow, Chintamani, a wish-fulfilling jewel, and Akshay Patra. These treasures symbolize the limitless prosperity that Lakshmi brings. But this wealth does not come without conflict. The Deva's entitlement to Lakshmi's wealth is often unquestioned in traditional narratives, yet it raises ethical dilemmas. Modern interpretations suggest that the Asuras represent the original inhabitants of the land, displaced by the Devas who brought advanced agriculture and pastoral techniques. Marxist perspectives view this conflict as one between the haves and the have-nots. While traditionalists may label Devas as good and Asuras as bad, the portrayal of Indra complicates this dichotomy. Indra, often depicted as indulgent and arrogant, represents the privileged who enjoy wealth without acknowledging the labor that produced it. From the Asura perspective, Indra is a thief who has unjustly taken what belongs to them, and their attempts to reclaim Lakshmi are acts of justice. The cyclical battle between Devas and Asuras mirror the ongoing struggle between those who control wealth and those who feel deprived of it. Lakshmi's presence turns Amravati into paradise, but the constant threat from the Asuras transforms it into a battleground. This reflects the modern conflict between capitalists and socialists, where wealth created by some leads to the feeling of exploitation and deprivation in others. For Devas, the battle is about protecting the wealth they have created or acquired, while for Asuras, it is about reclaiming what they believed has been stolen. Neither side fully understands the other, resulting in a relentless cycle of conflict and tension. Ultimately, Lakshmi's story illustrates the dual nature of wealth. It has the power to liberate, bring prosperity and comfort, but it also creates division, conflict, and a sense of entitlement. Wealth, when harnessed responsibly, can elevate societies and bring about progress, but when hoarded or misused, it leads to inequality and unrest. Lakshmi embodies this delicate balance, representing both the promise of abundance and the challenges that come with the pursuit and distribution of wealth. Her story serves as a reminder of the need for harmony, generosity, and understanding in the creation and sharing of prosperity, urging a balanced approach to wealth that benefits all of humanity. Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of wealth and prosperity, embodies not only the material abundance often associated with riches, but also the deeper aspects of luxury, comfort, and the complex relationship between desire and fulfillment. The exploration of Lakshmi's domain reveals a broader perspective on her influence, examining how wealth and luxury influences human lives, societies, and the natural environment. The story of Lakshmi begins with her association with wealth and treasure. She is described as a source of all treasures, ruling over gold, jewels, and other symbols of affluence. In many cultures, wealth has traditionally been seen as a source of security and comfort. The story of Lakshmi emphasizes that wealth is not inherently evil, but can become problematic depending on how it is pursued and distributed. In Hindu cosmology, wealth is viewed as a tool that can either elevate humanity or lead to destruction if not handled responsibly. Lakshmi's role, therefore, is to bestow wealth that brings prosperity, but she also demands discernment and balance in its use. Lakshmi's influence is further illustrated through the story of Lanka, the golden city ruled by Ravan, which symbolizes the allure and danger of unchecked desire. Lanka, described as an island of unimaginable wealth, becomes a center of conflict when its ruler Ravan misuses his power and wealth. The city represents not only material luxury but also the consequences of attachment to material desires. Ravan's greed and his obsession with possession led him to kidnap Sita, thereby triggering his downfall. Lakshmi's connection with Lanka illustrates the idea that material wealth, when controlled by selfish desire, becomes a catalyst for destruction rather than a source of true prosperity. Another important aspect of Lakshmi's narrative is her association with Vishnu, the preserver god of the Hindu trinity. Vishnu is often depicted as Lakshmi's consort, symbolizing balance, order, and harmony. Together, Lakshmi and Vishnu represent the ideal state of life where material wealth is coupled with ethical governance and preservation. Vishnu's role as the preserver ensures that Lakshmi's wealth is distributed in a way that supports order and well being. This partnership highlights that wealth, while essential for comfort and progress, must be accompanied by moral and ethical responsibility. The story of Lakshmi also addresses the idea of desire, both in its natural form and in excess. Wealth, in its various forms, is desired by all human beings, and this desire derives human progress. However, it can also lead to conflict and chaos if it becomes uncontrollable. In her stories, Lakshmi is often pursued by asuras and devas, representing the constant struggle between forces seeking to claim her wealth for their own purposes. The devas, embodying moral virtues, aim to distribute wealth for the collective good, whereas the asuras, representing greed and ego, want to hoard it for themselves. This tension between devas and asuras reflects the ongoing human conflict over resources and the ethical questions surrounding wealth distribution. Lakshmi is also linked to agriculture, illustrating her connection to the natural world and human survival. She is seen as the goddess who blesses the fields with abundance, ensuring that farmers reap good harvests. However, this abundance comes with its own set of challenges. The exploitation of natural resources to create wealth often leads to environmental degradation, symbolized by destruction of jungles to create farmland. Lakshmi's presence in agriculture represents the need for a sustainable balance between extracting resources and nurturing the environment. Moreover, Lakshmi's relationship with Ganesh, the god of wisdom and new beginnings, emphasizes the importance of knowledge and ethical conduct in managing wealth. Ganesh's blessings are often sought before embarking on any new venture, signifying the role of intelligence and planning in wealth creation. Lakshmi's connection to Ganesh suggests that prosperity is not merely about accumulating material wealth, but also about ensuring it is used wisely for the benefit of all. The stories of Lakshmi convey that wealth, when pursued without wisdom, can lead to negative consequences such as greed, inequality, and destruction. The desire for luxury and comfort is inherent in human nature, but it must be balanced with ethical considerations. The story of Lakshmi teaches that wealth is not to be hoarded or misused. Instead, it should be employed for the welfare of all, fostering growth, harmony, and prosperity. This balance between wealth and morality is the true secret of Lakshmi's blessing, reflecting the idea that prosperity is most meaningful when it uplifts the entire community rather than serving individual greed. The story of Lakshmi and her interactions with Indra and Vishnu highlights the complex relationship between wealth, power, and the human mind. Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, symbolizes both material affluence and the deeper qualities of prosperity, while her association with different deities reveal distinct approaches to wealth and its purpose in human life. The narrative begins with Indra, the king of gods, who becomes fixated on enjoying Lakshmi's presence without recognizing the responsibilities that come with wealth. Indra, preoccupied with his indulgence and seeking only pleasure, neglects to protect his kingdom from the envy and hostility of his enemies. In a drunken state, Indra even insults Lakshmi by discarding a garland of lotus flowers, a gesture that disrespects the blessing she embodies. Angered by this disregard, Lakshmi dissolves herself into the ocean of milk, leaving Indra's world in disarray. The story symbolizes how wealth, when taken for granted and used without respect or responsibility, can vanish, taking prosperity and happiness with it. To regain Lakshmi, Indra turns to Vishnu, who devises a plan to churn the ocean of milk, symbolizing the effort and collaboration needed to restore balance and bring back lost prosperity. Vishnu instructs Indra to make peace with the Asuras to assist in churning the ocean, emphasizing that wealth and prosperity can only be reclaimed through the cooperation of opposing forces. The churning process, a collaborative effort between the Devas and the Asuras, leads to the emergence of Lakshmi and other treasures from the ocean, symbolizing that true wealth is a result of collective effort and perseverance. However, after her return, Lakshmi chooses to go to Vishnu instead of Indra. This choice is significant as it establishes Vishnu as superior to Indra, not in terms of power alone, but in his attitude and understanding of wealth. While Indra symbolizes the mind driven by desire, constantly seeking to satisfy personal wants and feeling threatened by others, Vishnu represents a more enlightened perspective. Vishnu engages with society, aiming to outgrow his hunger through serving and helping others, contrasting with Indra's selfish pursuit of pleasure. Vishnu understands that wealth is not just for personal consumption, it should also be used for the welfare of others and for fostering harmony in the world. Vishnu's relationship with Lakshmi illustrates that wealth gravitates towards those who value it with wisdom and responsibility. Unlike Indra, who views Lakshmi merely as a means to fulfill his desires, Vishnu embodies the qualities that attracts true prosperity: thoughtfulness, generosity, and a sense of duty towards society. The story underscores the idea that wealth, when misunderstood or pursued for selfish reasons, leads to discontent, while those who use wealth for the greater good naturally attract abundance. The tale also delves into the human condition and the struggle between satisfying one's desires and transcending them. Indra symbolizes a human tendency to accumulate and consume, whereas Vishnu represents a higher path, one that focuses on fulfilling one's potential and helping others achieve theirs. Vishnu's approach is about enabling people to discover their dharma or life's purpose and use their abilities for the benefit of society. Unlike Shiva, who seeks to outgrow his hunger by withdrawing from the world, Vishnu seeks to outgrow his hunger by engaging with it, striving to uplift others. The story highlights the difference between material and spiritual wealth. While Indra seeks Lakshmi for the discomfort and pleasure she brings, Vishnu understands that real wealth lies in knowledge, wisdom, and compassion. This distinction is evident when Lakshmi chooses to stay with Vishnu, who not only appreciates her material blessings but also values the deeper meaning behind them. Vishnu's actions show that wealth is not an end in itself but a means to create harmony, balance, and well-being in the world. Vishnu's cleverness and wisdom are demonstrated through various stories. For instance, when the demon Hiranyakashipu secures a boon, making himself nearly invincible, Vishnu takes the form of Narsimha, a creature neither human nor animal, and finds a way to overcome the demon, showcasing his ability to outsmart even the most cunning adversaries. Similarly, in the story of Vaman, Vishnu teaches King Bali that material wealth is finite and cannot solve all problems. By expanding the mind and understanding the nature of desire, humans can recognize their own fears and empathize with others, fulfilling their true dharma. The story of Lakshmi and Vishnu ultimately reveals that true prosperity goes beyond material wealth. Vishnu's focus on thoughts rather than material possessions is what makes him appeal to Lakshmi. She stays with him because he understands that wealth must be used wisely, not merely for personal gratification, but for the upliftment of all. In this way, Vishnu embodies the idea of responsible wealth, one that liberates rather than binds, and that seeks to nurture the world rather than exploit it. In conclusion, the story of Lakshmi, Indra, and Vishnu teaches us that wealth, while desirable, must be treated with respect and responsibility. Indra's obsession with pleasure and lack of regard for Lakshmi's significance led to the loss of prosperity, while Vishnu's wisdom and selflessness made him deserving of her blessings. The narrative encourages us to look beyond material gains and to use wealth as a means to fulfill our higher purpose, serve others, and create a balanced and harmonious world. Wealth can indeed liberate, but only when it is pursued and used in a way that benefits not just the self but also society. The relationship between wealth and spirituality in Hinduism is deeply complex, reflecting diverse perspectives on material prosperity, cultural values, and moral duties. In the stories of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Vishnu, her protector, different forms of wealth are represented through tangible and intangible aspects, offering nuanced insights into human society's relationship with prosperity. Lakshmi embodies both natural and cultural wealth, depicted through her forms as Bhumi, the earth goddess, and Svi, representing intangible wealth or glamour. Bhumi, as a provider of essential resources like food, reflects the tangible aspects of wealth that can sustain life. In contrast, Shri represents allure and splendor that wealth can bring to human society. The relationship between Lakshmi and Vishnu in various avatars emphasizes the importance of these two types of wealth and their responsible management. One of the stories illustrates the significance of Lakshmi as Bhumi, the earth cow, who must be nurtured rather than exploited. When King Vena plundered the earth, the rishis intervened, creating a new king Prithu from Vena's remains. Prithu, a form of Vishnu, pursued Bhumi, compelling her to allow herself to be milked for the benefit of humanity, but also assuring her protection. This story emphasizes that wealth represented by Bhumi should be accessible to all, but must be safeguarded to prevent its depletion and misuse. In Vishnu's avatar as Parashuram, Ram, and Krishna, his interactions with Lakshmi are shaped by the need to balance duty and compassion. Parashuram acts to recover his mother's cow from those who unlawfully claim it, embodying the role of a guardian, protecting Bhumi from exploitation. In Ram's narrative, his relationship with Sita reflects the complexity of duty over personal desires. Rama's adherence to his duty as the king often comes at the cost of his relationship with Sita, illustrating the sacrifices inherent in maintaining social order and protecting the collective well-being over individual needs. In the story of Krishna, Lakshmi takes many forms: Radha, Rukmini, Satyabhama, and Draupadi, each highlighting different aspects of wealth and their relationship with Vishnu. Krishna values both the love of Rukmini and the wealth of Satyabhama, recognizing that both emotional and material resources contribute to a balanced life. His intervention to save Draupadi, who is helpless despite having 5 powerful husbands, reveals that the true responsibility towards wealth and prosperity involves protecting those who are vulnerable, regardless of social obligations. The tales of Krishna and his siblings at the Jagannath temple further demonstrate that wealth must be used without discrimination. When Krishna's elder brother Balaram rejects Lakshmi for associating with a sweeper, the gods soon find themselves without food or resources. The siblings realize that rejecting wealth based on arbitrary human notions of purity leads to deprivation. Lakshmi's impartiality shows that wealth should be a tool for universal nourishment, free from cultural biases like caste-based discrimination. The stories also explore the tension between the yogi and the bhogi within Indian philosophy. The yogi, symbolized by figures like Shiva, seeks spiritual liberation without trapping of material wealth, whereas the bhogi, represented by figures like Indra, enjoys the pleasure wealth provides. Vishnu occupies a unique position between these two extremes, and he is both a protector of wealth and someone who seeks to ensure its responsible use. He aims to transform environments from battlegrounds of greed into playgrounds of shared prosperity. In the Telugu tale from the temple of Tirupati Balaji, Vishnu's relationship with wealth is further demonstrated. When Vishnu is cursed by a sage and Lakshmi leaves him, he is forced to descend to earth and marry Padmavati, a local princess, but only after taking a loan from Kuber, the god of wealth. Even the god Vishnu requires material wealth to fulfill societal roles such as marriage and establishing a household. This story emphasizes that wealth is essential in human society and must be respected and managed wisely. Ultimately, the narrative shows that wealth, represented by Lakshmi, can be both a source of bondage and a tool for liberation, depending on how it is approached. Vishnu, through his actions, seeks to transform wealth into a force for good, ensuring it is distributed and celebrated rather than hoarded or used for selfish purposes. His relationship with Lakshmi illustrates a balanced approach to wealth, emphasizing its role in both providing for material needs and facilitating spiritual growth. Lakshmi, in her impartiality, symbolizes the idea that true prosperity lies in using wealth to uplift and liberate not just oneself but all of society.